Okay, this is a video response to Fiona Baxter of Baxter Mimner Solicitors in Longford. I was very open with you from the beginning. I told you that I have mental health injuries, not illnesses, injuries, and also severely declining physical health due to, amongst other things, ciprofloxacin damage. So I'm just so overwhelmed with your response that I'm not quite in the mood to write a long letter explaining. So I do hope and pray that you have time. I know you're young and you're, very successful solicitor, and but I do have time I do pray that you have time, even if it's just driving home from work in your car, to listen to my response to your letter. So before and this is not public, this is unlisted, but before how do I go? I'm going to read your letter to me, which, given that I was completely open to with you from the beginning, and you contracted with me in writing, no foal, no fee, just incidental expenses to be paid along the way. I'm quite shocked that you've come back to me and said, can you give me 5 grand or 20 grand or whatever, in order for me to proceed. It seems like a breach of contract, but I don't want to fall out with you. I want you to rise up to the occasion. As far as I'm concerned, this is a slam dunk in the back of the net, home run case. I'm not asking you to go after the out of time injuries, although they were huge, like the martyr started this whole nightmare. And all I'm asking you to do is pursue Cavan General or the makers of ciprofloxacin for a well-known side effect, which is total collapse of the joints. Cavan General have already admitted they've had at least 5 claims for ciprofloxacin, what they call adverse side effects, or they even call it allergies. It's not allergies, it's very serious side effects. I have it documented by GPs. I have it documented by MRIs. I'm having falls on the average of once a week. I'm holding my breath and limiting my mobility until I meet Alan Walsh, surgeon, orthopedic surgeon at Navan Hospital on the 29th of April. And he will discuss with me. It's not a knee replacement thing. This is ciprofloxacin damage. It's in black and white. It's documented. The other thing I wanted to say was that I've only ever taken one case, and I went all the way to the High Court in Drogheda, and I won. And not before John Pryor resigned because I wouldn't settle. And I said, this is not about the money. And then he passed me on to Garrett Fortune, who seems to be a good friend of yours, if I'm not wrong, not telling me that he would bill Garrett Fortune for 12,500. And then Garrett Fortune took it to court with all my work. And then at the last minute, the barrister was switched to a Fairweather, something like that. But anyway, it was a complete conflict of interest. He had previously supposedly represented my niece in a child sexual abuse case in Trim Circuit Court, which she won. But it was very alarming to me that hours before I was due to go in front of the judge agreed to hear my case. There was sufficient evidence that he was going to hear it, at which point Argos, the defendants, pled guilty. And then in comes another barrister, the one that had stitched up my niece, and he went ahead and made made a out of court settlement on my behalf against my wishes. And when I wrote to the judge and told him that, because I was due to appear before the judge the next morning at 10:30 with my witnesses and my evidence, which was overwhelming, on the court steps as I was leaving the night before, having had Argos accept liability and having had the barrister switched on me, I got kind of accosted on the court steps and told, you better accept 30,000. Nobody's ever got more than that for this, blah, 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 bullying. And so I kind of cowered. And then when I went home, I thought, wait a minute, what just happened? And I contacted this barrister and I said, look, I'm scheduled to be in front of the judge in Dundalk at 10:30 tomorrow morning, and I want to go in front of him. I don't care if I win or lose. I want to show my evidence. And I said, please do not enter any out of court settlement. I'm en route. And he messaged back and said, too late. Sorry, I've already informed the judge. It's all been settled. And so I wrote to the judge and told him what had been done. And the clerk of the judge wrote back to me and said, we're so sorry. Once the barrister has entered a settled out of court plea, this is out of the judge's hands. You will now need to take the barrister to court. And I was too sick to do that. So, but anyway, what I was trying to do was, first of all, read your, and the other point I wanted to make was, in that court case, like, I won 30 grand and the legal team won 35, which included paying 12 and a half to John Pryor, who did not very much at all. You've done more than him. And then included paying an English expert. And I know that it's protocol if you're trying to win a case in Ireland, especially against, the HSE or whatever, who pay like probably 50 million a year to defend cases. I know it's protocol to hire an English expert witness in order to bring your case. But my case is so slam dunk, so proven in writing. So like I said, I'm due to see the surgeon the end of April. I fall approximately once a week. My left leg is almost useless. My right leg's not much better. And it's written in MRIs, GPs, it's written down ciprofloxacin damage. So 2 questions I have is, why are you asking for 5,000 to pay an English expert who probably won't be called in court because it probably will be settled because the proof is overwhelming and they won't want the publicity? But why, when I went to the High Court before, the only time in my life, no, I didn't have to pay any English witnesses. They were all on account pending completion of the case, So, and the other, right, I'm still talking before I show you your letter, but the other thing I need to tell you is that whether you understand it or not, I am a survivor of MK Ultra. I've been in projects and experiments since in the womb. My father was 25 years in the British Air Force, and I have been subjected to targeting all my life. And with regard to Cavan General Hospital, there was an incident where I was admitted with an extruding, sorry, trigger warning, extruding hemorrhoid, rather agonizingly large. And the doctor, the registrar on duty in A&E, fondled my breasts whilst supposedly examining me for an excruciating hemorrhoid, and then tried to like, I was just totally traumatized by his sexual assault, which it was. I'm sorry, it was. He had no business. What on earth was he doing, touching my breasts in a very prolonged manner whilst I was brought in for an extruding hemorrhoid. But anyway, then he shunted me off to get the hemorrhoid cut off, and it was so agonizing I screamed the place down. And then I made a complaint that I had been sexually assaulted by a registrar, and the head nurse of Cavan General Emergency, A&E, rang me and said, "Oh my God, please retract this. He's such a good doctor. We need him so much. How could you say such a terrible thing? He's never done anything wrong, blah, blah, blah." And so I believe they wrote, I didn't report it to the Gardaí. I just reported it to the hospital. But I believe they wrote up in my notes that I was cray-cray, and that I was liable to make false allegations. So I noticed that every time I've been to Cavan General since, and this was about, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, but they would look at my notes and then they would look rather alarmed, and then they would go and get a female nurse or somebody to accompany them to examine me. And it's just where I haven't completed. I don't like complaining. I've only ever taken one lawsuit in my life. I did not have to pay retainers for English experts, and I won the only case I ever took. So I am going to go and see my credit union on Monday. I will, if needs be, borrow some. I don't want you to be out of pocket. I'm very grateful that you've examined 1,500 pages of medical notes, but I just want to warn you, that I have been mistreated in Irish hospitals across the board, right from the martyr, which I'm not asking you to fight that. All I'm asking you to do is bring a claim for ciprofloxacin damage, which has disabled me age 66 to the point of I can hardly walk anymore, literally. But in the Martyr Hospital, they just let loose medical students on me left, right, and center. I was treated like a cadaver, and they had to insert eight cannulas. Is that what you call it? Cannulas in my arm over 12 days, and because the cannulas had to be kept putting back in because it was students practicing on me and doing a very bad job, I missed 5 antibiotic doses after the surgery. And so, of course, my blood showed a little bit of infection, post-op infection. But Anne-Marie Robertson, and I guarantee if you research her, I guarantee there's more than me has complained about her. And her number 2 sidekick, Patricia, they were all gung-ho. Oh, let's do this, let's do that, blah, 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 let's go again. And they had a beautiful third in command, black doctor. And he was like, "Oh, please don't open her up again. I'm sure another 24 hours of antibiotics would sort this out." And they hadn't even checked my notes to see that 5 doses of antibiotics had been missed because of cannulas falling out of my arms. So, I did make a very extensive internal complaint to the Martyr, and they just obstructed me. The ombudsman had to contact them twice and tell them to release their internal review because they knew. So, no matter what my mental injuries are or my history, incredulous as it sounds, I am telling the truth, and it's evidence. My daughter photographed my notes showing 5 lots of antibiotics had been missed. My daughter, there were nurses in Cavan General where I dissociated and got terrified. There were witnesses, So anyway, I'm going to read your letter and see if I've missed anything out in this response. But my request to you, Fiona, and partly I really felt like being referred to your solicitors by that lady in Virginia. I can't remember her name right now, but Fiona is the name of my sister on whom that painting is based, who was murdered in 2015. And Anya, who took on my inheritance issues and then dropped me, because her name was McCabe, and I love The Field by the Bull McCabe, and I'm fighting another whole issue with that. All I wanted Anya to do was to ask the Bank of Ireland and the credit union to supply my father's financial records for the past 7 years. And then it would have been another slam dunk proof in the bag. My younger sister has been financially defrauding my father for years. And there you go. But sadly, Anya stepped down before that. But anyway, so I just, like, I hope you can see that I'm not stupid, but I am injured. And this sort of wavering that you're doing, where you seem to be going back on our contract in writing of no foul, no fee, it's causing me a lot of anxiety. So I'm just going to share screen. Done. Yeah, here's your letter to me. So I'm just going to read it to see if I've missed anything. So this was dated the 15th, and now we're like 2 weeks later. This, I'm dealing with a lot. I refer to the above. Thank you for your up-to-date instructions in this matter, which and it's not potential medical negligence. It's it's medical abuse. It's medical misconduct. It's not potential at all. It's absolutely in the bag. To clarify, we are not seeking payment of 5,000 to date. Well, that's good. In order to issue legal proceedings in medical negligence, we must have possession of an expert report confirming negligence. These reports are sourced from experts in the UK. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. That happened in my only other court case, but I didn't pay anything. That UK expert was paid, on completion of the trial, which I won. As per my letter of 20th December, which is a long time ago, it's now about the 27th of February last, medical experts will require payment of reports fees prior to releasing such report. That was not my experience in the past. I don't think you even need a UK. In this case, I think it's a slam dunk, but you're the expert. And I would estimate same would be in the region of 5,000. I base this on previous experience in obtaining reports in such medical negligence cases. In securing the medical report from the UK, there is no guarantee that they will confirm negligence even after such payment has been expended. This is all fear-based. This is both a cost and a risk which litigants incur in these cases, not on a no fault, no fee. No. Well, we can only advise you of our views on your case, and if we think on balance there is a potential case in medical negligence. That horse has gone long since. You entered into a written contract with me months ago saying we absolutely think on balance there's medical negligence, and we're absolutely taking you on no fault, no fee. So that's in writing. Counsel has reviewed the papers. Well, who's counsel? If you have a barrister, please tell me their name. And he is of the opinion that this is a very difficult case. No, it's not. If you just narrow it down to the ciprofloxacin damage, as confirmed by medical experts, it's a slam dunk. And he cannot say if an expert would be able to identify negligence, well, then he's not doing his homework. It's on foot of this opinion that you must make the decision as to whether you wish to retain a medical expert or not. That's throwing it back on me when you've contracted with me, no fault, no fee. This is shocking, Fiona, to me. This is shocking. If you wish to proceed, you will have to put us in funds immediately, which will be in the region of 5,000 so we can secure a report. Again, I do not believe you need a UK report, but even if that will strengthen your protocol or case, my experience of the only other court case I took all the way to the High Court in Dundalk, the UK expert was paid on completion of the trial. You are indeed correct. We did take this case on a no fault, no fee basis. Thank you. However, now you can't move the goalpost. Sorry. Having obtained and considered over 1,500 pages of medical records and obtaining advices from counsel, which you haven't informed me who that is, we must advise that this will be a difficult case to succeed in terms of liability, and therefore, you're moving the goalposts. We're not in a position to continue to act in this matter on a no-win, no-fee basis, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sure you know Eleanor Davis, and I'm sure she has informed either yourself or Unya that I've put a complaint into the LSRA about her conduct with regard to my father's estate. If you go ahead and duck out of a no-win, no-fee contract, I will report you to the LSRA. That whether I win anything or whether it makes any difference or whatever, no, you can't do that. You can't do that to people. So I'll just finish reading that. We are not now. This is not public for now. This is unlisted. I'm just sending this to you because I can't write all this down. We are not in a position to continue to act in this matter on a no-win, no-fee basis in circumstances where counsel has been unable to identify negligence. Well, a blind man on a galloping horse can identify negligence, and I'd go stronger. It's not just negligence. Just do the research in order to. I'm due to see Alan Walsh at Navan Hospital on the 29th of April, and he will advise it. It's not a case of knee replacements. This is catastrophic damage from ciprofloxacin. Please research it and advise your barrister to do the same. And please let me know which barrister is influencing or trying to influence you to break a contract. Right. If you wished us to proceed further, we will require payment on account. In regard to your concerns that your property may be at risk, if you were to lose the case in court, there is a very real risk that costs would be awarded against you, and the defendants may pursue you to recover their costs. Well, that's fear porn. I own my home without a mortgage. I'm disabled. It's about to have a stair lift and a bathroom hoist installed. I doubt they can put a disabled person out of their home. And disabled by this very, calling it medical negligence is softball. As previously advised, it's open to you to seek a second opinion from another legal team. You're having a laugh, Fiona. Come on. And I have no difficulty whatsoever facilitating same by furnishing a full copy of the records, etc., which we hold on file in order that you may expedite same. That's what John Pryor said. But when I won the case, he quick smart put in a bill for 12,500 and he got paid it. It's like, this is not on. However, as stated above, having reviewed papers in this matter and considered same fully, we are not prepared to continue to act on no-win, no-fee basis. Right. If you stand by that, I will report you to the LSRA and I will release this publicly. That is not a threat. That is just a normal person's response to a reputable solicitor trying to break a contract. So that's it. I'll leave it at that. If you have further questions, I just had to, I'm glad I put this on record. I really am. Email only bears no signature. Wow. So this isn't even a legal document. It's no wonder. It's no wonder because it's illegal. It's illegal what you're trying to do. You can't do that. And as I say, there's no need for us to fall out. There was no need for Eleanor Davis and myself to fall out. All she had to do, or all Anya McCabe had to do in partnership with her, was obtain my father's financial records, his bank statements and his credit union, going back 7 years, which banks are obliged to retain. And then bingo, I would have had the proof I know is there, and the estate would be settled, but equally that's a very upsetting email that you sent me, Fiona, and I'm very disappointed. But all I want you to do is to proceed with confidence, with my medical records, with my ongoing falls and surgeon appointments and confirmations, and I have a carer 45 minutes daily. I have a stair lift about to be, I'm not going to do a pity party, and if you need to get a UK expert report, even if I need to borrow 1,000 or something, I am going to the credit union on Monday, and I have no mortgage, so I can borrow money, but this moving of the goalposts is not necessary, and it's not acceptable, and I believe I can prove you in breach of contract if you take this line. Please inform me of any barrister that's giving opinions on my case without even speaking to me. And please disregard a huge amount of my medical notes. Bring up every charge against me that made you nervous, and I will give you the real reason, and I'll probably be able to give you evidence and witnesses as to how they're lying. AngiePowerDisney@gmail.com. 24 Lock Review, Old Castlemeath. God bless.